everybody, welcome back to another fictional and anime and gaming channel, Spawn Point Sessions. Last time we had Malik Forte off of TikTok and somewhat on YouTube, and now we have JoshSTATiX, also from TikTok, and also has a little bit going on for him on YouTube. So welcome, Josh. Welcome to my gaming room.
What's up? What's up? Hope my energy is good for everybody, you know.
Hey, you know, I try to perk people up, you know what I'm saying? I try to make everybody feel good.
I think you'll wake me up too, man, because you have like an infectious energy that just brings like good vibes out of people.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I feel like good energy though finds good energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree for sure.
You know, because like that's how we met. We met off of just like random encounters, like from other gamers on Gaming
Right.
Talk. Like that's how we met. You know, and like things just kind of went from there. But like I really like what you do though, man, because I feel like the way you do your gaming content, I feel like you do bring a lot of genuine sides of things, much like how Malik does his. Like you guys play these games and you're not just going to say, hey, this game is ass and leave it at that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you actually describe like, so like what goes into that? Like do you like plan your videos out, or do you just kind of like play the game and this is how I'm feeling and go?
Normally, my goal in mind, like whenever I get a new game, I just play it for my own enjoyment. I don't have like I know there's people out there when they play video games and do content, some of them may have like a little thing on the side where they'll see something, they notice it, they want to write down things, I guess for like review sake. For me, it's like I just play the game to enjoy it, and then once I get to the end of how I feel, I just go from there, and then I start like brainstorming what I like and don't like about it, because I feel like once I get close to the end or I complete the thing, is that when I can give my full takeaway from it. I know it's like a lot of people when they make videos on video games, they call them reviews, but they honestly like impressions. Like
It's like a first impression.
Yeah, they'll play like 3 hours or 5 or 8 hours, like 3 to 5 hours of a game. It's like, here's my review. It's like, nah, bro, it's not a review, bro. It's just an impression.
No, exactly, and that's like I remember when I was doing more streaming than I was like streaming every day. When I was doing that and I was playing through those, what was it? The Dark Pictures Anthology series. Every time I did a video and I called it a review, it was reviewing what I just experienced in the game in the night before. You see what I'm saying? So I did it in segments, and then at the end I did a massive review. Here's what I like, and this, and this is what I didn't like, and yada yada yada. But like, you're right. A lot of people just get on there and they're like, yeah, so I played this game for 2 hours and it's trash. It just sucks, you know, and I didn't do much in it. All I did was stare at the menu and drink some Mountain Dew and beat my girlfriend. That's pretty much it. And then like, okay, you're just crazy, like obviously.
It's funny because like I have like a lot of behind the scenes chats with people on similar things, and like this is gonna make me sound like a hater, and it's never in my intent. It's just I can be very honest, and sometimes people don't like it when I'm being honest. But like, what kind of kills me though a little bit is like when we talk about video games, it's like people don't go into details. People tend to say like cool words that people can relate to.
Right.
So you like saying, "Hey man, I just played that new Black Myth Wukong, and let me tell you, they cooking on this one. They cooking." And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Motherfucker, you was in your 30s. Why are you talking like these young people, bro? Like, this ain't even your language. Like, stop trying to be relatable. Like, be honest. Like, people don't go in. Hey, let me tell you, bro. I'm just saying, bro. Ubisoft here is a case that needs to be." I'm like, bro, shut up. You like go into detail. Like, did you like the animations? Did you like the fight and technique? What did you feel like the game lacked that could have done better on? It's just not. It's just we tend to like simplify stuff, and it feels like people are saying like similar things, and it's just as bad as like when someone stitch your video and they just say the same things you just said. I'm like, bro, what I gotta watch you for when I can watch him?
You know what's crazy about that? It's funny you mentioned that. I was scrolling on TikTok the other day, and I don't remember the creator's name, but he was talking about how you grow your account on TikTok. It literally was like, all you need to do is green screen somebody else's video and then show 5 seconds of it and then say the same thing they said in the first 10 seconds of your video, and then you can talk about whatever you want and you're gonna grow. And I'm like, so you just ride coattails? That's your advice to people?
Bro, for real. Everybody, I feel like, and it's sad too that you said that, because it's like, you can kind of tell, like, you was probably, you was around like TikTok like 4 years back. Was you around back then?
Yeah, I was I was like strictly on the anime side back then.
Yeah, so that, I like to call that era pandemic talk, because that's when everything was like so fun. Like, everyone was just passionate. You know, everybody was sitting at home, bored. So it was like, oh, you like anime? I love anime too. You love me? I love anime too. And everybody was just like having a good vibe, wanting to talk, chat, and everything. And now it's like, I don't like your opinion. Well, I don't like your opinions too. Well, you should meet me in the parking lot. I don't have a parking lot because I'm in a wheelchair, so I can't do nothing.
I'm gonna pull up. I'm pulling up right now. Yeah, that's right. You know, drop the Addy. You know what? I don't even need the Addy. I'm already on the sidewalk. Like, you got to. Meanwhile, they're just sitting there.
Bro, for real. I'm like sitting like, what are we doing here, y'all? What are we doing? Why we're acting tough, man? It's just opinions, man.
But on the topic of Wukong, man, I see you're having a little bit of a journey with the game. You're getting some blast. You're getting some people clapping back on some of your videos, talking about, like, you know, comparing it to Souls-like, things like that. And then you're also playing it and also like giving people updates as you go. What's that journey been like for you?
I'm loving this game, to tell you the truth. It was funny with the first video I made, because it was like kind of like in response to like other people, like the Jacobs, the Tony Sino, and the other guy, Stony. He's watching a mutual of mine. You know, because they all say like, "Yo, this game is great, man. This game right here is cooking," and I'm sitting there like, y'all make it, in my mind, I'm like, some of y'all make it sound a little bit too good to be true. And I'm one of those kind of people where it's like, I don't like when someone and I'm not saying it's against them, but like, I don't like when people try to sell me on something that's too good to be true. I'm like, there's always got to be something. Like, and mind you, I'm not the kind of person who's always looking for negativity in a video game. I was like, let me investigate it for myself, because I feel like I'm one of those kind of people where it's like, we need more honesty, like fair honesty, when it comes to just gaming takes in general. Like, I don't want to be one of these copycat people who just say the same thing. Because at this point, bro, we just some copy and paste stuff. But after I played what I played, I'm like, okay, I'm liking it. It's pretty cool. I like it for what it is. It's been, I think that the challenge is what's keeping me playing. And then I also played with my own group of friends in my Discord, and we also like stream it from our own gameplay. We talk about it, and then we all share our opinions, and it feels like we're all playing the game together, but we're not. But we're just sharing our experiences with it, like, who's the most frustrating boss. And you're like, wait, you beat him that fast? Like, yeah, I did. I was struggling against him first. I was like, this is my first time. You know, and people are like, you play Souls games? I said, I don't play them like that. He's like, damn, if you're good at this stuff, you should play this. I'm like, maybe. But it was just, I love how Black Myth Wukong is connecting people together to have conversations. It kind of feels like how video games were back in the day, where, you know, when you're talking to your friends at schools or whatever, it's like, man, I was suffering because this dude, you got any tips? Hey, man, what you got to do is do it. I like that. I think when a game does that, and is keeping people talking for times to come, like, I think that's a good thing, because like everyone is like struggling in their own way, but we're all helping each other. That's the positives I like about games like Black Myth Wukong, is that the fact that we're all still playing it, we're all talking about it, and we're all trying to help one another. And some of us are still struggling. Like, I'm still in chapter 3, like doing my part. So I love this game. I really do. I didn't think I was gonna love it like that, because before, like, I hear people hyping this game, like it's going to be like the next
right.
thing on demand, and I'm just like.
And you're looking at it, you're like, yeah, it looks flashy, but is it really going to be that good? Like, it could just be like Crimson Desert, which just looks like all flash at this point. I will say that.
And it's meant because again, like I said, like people were like, "Oh man, this is great. It's gonna be amazing." And I'm like, "Yeah, but this part I'm gonna keep it real." I was like, "Yeah, but it's a Chinese game though. Like I don't know anything about those Chinese devs. Like I really
we don't know how they're gonna treat this process. We don't know any of that.
We really don't like throughout my like 20 plus years of gaming, right? It's like the game that the best games that's ever been created came from countries like America, Japan, and Europe off the top of my head. And those are like the top 3 countries that I know of. So when I hear it's like a Chinese game, I'm like, what game? This is the first to me. Exactly. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying that it could be bad, but it's just like I've always been aware that they like certain game companies from here have made games for China and whatnot that we never got to play. Like I think there was like a Call of Duty online game that was made specifically for China, and it has all the big stuff. We have like crazy. You have like I think like 100-player matches and whatnot. Like this is stuff that we don't get, bro. But they have the cool stuff.
Like, that's bullshit, man.
Yeah, like even like there's like a Halo game.
What the hell, Activision? Get it together, man. Where's my 100 versus 100? Where's that at?
Like there's a Halo game I think in Russia, and I think it's based off the Halo 3 engine with some new mechanics, and they have like dedicated servers, and I'm like, what the fuck? How come they get this cool stuff?
That's wild. That's real crazy.
So it's like the gaming world is pretty big, but we're kind of like restricted. So when this game's got the buzz it's getting and it actually live up to the hype, like when I played, I'm like, okay, this game is definitely worth talking about. They're not bullshitting with this one. So like I like Black Myth Wukong.
Wow. Like I was really hoping you were gonna play it and start liking it. Like when you were first making like, man, this game might suck. Like I don't know yet, I haven't played it. And like when you were making those videos, I was like, I really hope it's fun for him because I feel like it would be cool to see somebody go into it completely from like a fuck it, I'll try it standpoint and actually go through it so we can get, like you said, a genuine review. So I do appreciate that journey that you're going on with it right now.
Yeah, because like every video that I'm posting on it, it's like you guys are like with me. So like you're seeing the stuff that I'm struggling with and the things I'm liking about it. So it's like it's kind of like a documentary. I'm not just doing an impressions videos. Like I'm gonna keep doing it because it's just you guys get to see what I'm seeing in real. Well, I would say in real time, but it's recorded.
Right. No, I got you. I get what you're saying. Like you're seeing it as I'm doing it chronologically. Yeah. You're watching the entire journey.
For sure.
So, are there any other games that are coming out this year that like you have your eye on, or anything like that?
So far it's like, I do. It's damn it. Space Marines 2.
Okay.
That's the one big one I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna give the new Black Ops 6 a try because I just had to. It's kind of like culture in a way. And then what's the next game? Oh, like I am happy for the Dead Rising.
I didn't see you talking about that. Yo, that shit got weird.
Yeah, like,
that shit got weird real quick. That one dude, like, yo, he looked sweaty, man. He looked like those nerds that like when they go to like the Comic-Con and you walk by, and then you damn near die. Like that's.
You know what's crazy about that game, it being controversial? Like I don't even know what's real anymore, man. Like because sometimes I feel like. And this is the thing I've been kind of like finding weird. Like the more I do content creation on TikTok, it's like when people give their takes on things, it's like I have to decipher whether or not if this is actually genuine or this guy is just doing it because everyone else, he or she is doing it because everybody else is angry. So let me feed into what they're angry about to grow my thing. And it's like I had to like read into, it's like I had to do like. It analyzing work to say, okay, is this person really legit angry, or it's just a play? And then I never know, but like people being upset about like the changes in regards to like the loot content is not being as it used to be. It's like people are making a big deal because in that game originally, like the little content about it really wasn't that big of a deal. It was just some mindless things. I think, and now it's kind of like tasteless because like, we don't. I don't think us as gamers tend to look at women the same way as we used to. Like,
yeah, like you can definitely see it. We've had so much fan service, and
Yeah.
like a lot of us were young and in very formative parts of our youth. So you get on any, especially if you're playing like a Japanese game, you jump on anything like that. If it's anime based, you're seeing humongo tatas, you're seeing all this stuff, and then usually the stuff that we're getting is very weird incel-like behavior towards the women, and also just creepy behavior towards women. Like making that a goal to run around in a game where you're supposed to be fighting zombies, but you're also trying to take pictures of zombie cleavage or even just random cleavage. That's weird, bro. That's weird behavior. And then those people getting mad at you, like not even you, but just like mad at them taking it out. It's like, what?
Right.
Like, do you not hear yourself? I'm disappointed that I can't just do an upskirt shot in the middle of this zombie game. I don't understand.
I think what was funny too is like when they tried to like defend their points, it's like you're kind of like making yourself out more like an incel. Then I think what you attended, because like people are talking about censorship and they're taking away something, but it's like at the end of the day, that's their creative decision. Take it or leave it.
and then like and then even then it's like, and then they're so quick to call it like, oh, this is just more of the woke mob. The woke brigade is coming and they're gonna just make things nice for people. Like and then you ask them like, okay, so like what does this have to do with being woke? They're like, I don't know, it's just like you like women. It's like, oh, I mean, I just want them to enjoy the game. Like that's it,
bro. Like what's funny, because like I literally played the game all over again like last week, to like, for content's sake and like review's sake, and like there was like 2 missions in the games where you're required to take pictures of women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like there is like this guy, I forgot his name. He has like a long scrawny head. He's a photographer just like the guy Frank, and it's just one of those scoop missions. And basically what you're doing is he wants you, because he see you're a photographer, he wants you to impress him by taking some cool pictures. So like the first mission you do with him, you take basic pictures of him doing action things and you get points for it. The points basically goes into they're like experience points to help you build your like level up. And like he'll want you to take a picture of him like, doing a pose. And then the second mission, he wants you to take a picture of a woman doing, erotica stuff. And basically, most people will go to this one character. She's like one of the main characters, and she sits in front of a bed post because one of her partner was injured, and she's like taking care of him. So when you see her like her cleavage out and her skirt open, and then you take a picture of it, and you get the points. And it was funny though. It's like looking back at it, like it's like it was at a time where a lot of us was ignorant because we didn't really give a fuck what.
Right. No one. It was back when no one really cared, which was
no one really cared. Like,
or if they did care, people didn't say anything as much. Like it wasn't as loud.
Yeah, because even then, like it was very tame, but still, it was just the ignorance. But like when you're taking the pictures, the guy goes, woo, like those kind of things.
Yeah.
And so like, but the thing is, like in retrospect, like the mission itself is pointless because people are not talking about the fact that this game is basically it's based on like it's very like time dependent. So like 5 minutes in, I think if I'm not mistaken, 5 minutes in real time equates to an hour in the game time.
Wow.
So you don't have a lot of time to do stuff, and I feel like that mission of his kind of like break up the pacing of it or whatnot. So it was kind of like meaningless and didn't really add much value. And then there's this one mission, and it's really optional, but this girl, she wants you to take a picture of her doing like sexy poses and everything. And
I just don't get like what that has to do with the zombie apocalypse. That's the problem that like, and that's what, and like I think that like we were saying, I think that really that really gets into some of these kids' minds who, because if I'm not mistaken, can't even get my words out. If I'm not mistaken, Dead Rising when it came out was rated M for mature, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So now you got a lot of parents that just buy their kids games. Like my parents never bought me a rated M game until I was like 15, 16 years old, and I had to convince them that I was, mature enough to consume that. And I feel like every kid should have to go through that, because we get these kids who got this game like Dead Rising when they're 8 years old, and they're playing it, and now they're growing up thinking, this is how I need to talk to women, this is how you're supposed to. Frank did it, and Frank's cool, he's killing zombies, so I'd be cool, I'll be just like Frank, I'm gonna go and talk reckless to this woman, and then that woman reacts in the way as most would, and then they're like, oh, women all suck, I just hate women. Like, that's where that comes from.
Right. It's just funny. Like when I look back at it now, it's like, we was really, I guess, ignorant.
We were.
That's the best way. Like, because like there was like, I remember like there was like a lot of like games that like sex appeal was like heightened. Like I think like there's like Dead or Alive.
That one spinoff game they had. What was it? It was like something in Roses.
It was like the volleyball. They had the
the volleyball.
There's that, and there's like a wrestling game.
The wrestling one.
It's called Rumble Roses.
Rumble Roses. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is all just putting them in skimpy outfits and making them mud wrestle. Like what?
Like it was just because like I remember playing as a kid, and like you can like take pictures of them, and now I look at it in retrospect, it's like, damn, this is basically some peeping Tom stuff, because I mean.
It was weird.
Because like it's not real. Like the stuff is not really real, and to be upset about it, I think it just makes you look a lot more weird, because it's like, I mean,
like,
I don't want to say.
It's like you don't want to shame somebody for having fun, but then at the same point, like some type of fun, we don't need to be having. It just is what it is,
Well, but what's funny about it? Like I have someone. This kid, I think he was like 17 years old. He reached out to me. He said, "Can you talk about this Dead Rising thing?" I said, "Why?" He said, "I think this thing is just people are blown out of proportion." I was like, a 17-year-old didn't even care about that stuff. So what does that really say?
Exactly. Like it's really weird. Like it's just really strange that people don't think that, like, ratings on games matter is essentially what I'm saying here. Like, there is a reason Dead Rising was rated M. There is a reason for that. Because even, like you said, is that a mission you have to do in the game? Or is it one of those you don't have to do?
I think for this, this one particular, like, I think you had to.
Got it.
For, like, I think for, like, an achievement or so. But, like, looking back at it, it's like it really messed up the pacing. It's like it really was just pointless.
It was just thrown in there just for the sake of doing some fan service, and that's when it doesn't mean anything. Like, you have games like Mass Effect that are also rated M, right? And then you play these games, and they do have sexual themes in them and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's tasteful. It's not like it's literally like more like art, like how they did it in Baldur's Gate. It's not just here's this just for the sake of it being here. Like, you're not building a relationship with these people, so just go take a picture of their yams. Like, that's wild behavior. And then like I said, then you got an 8-year-old kid watching that, and if that's what they are consuming and their parents aren't explaining that to them, then like they're gonna just grow up, consume, and that's gonna shape a lot of how they view the world and how they view people. But
what's funny, like Mortal Kombat was the first game I realized that people was being really weird about that, because like it was like 11 dropped and people were upset that the women in the game were less revealing outfits, and they're like, and people hitting guys were going into details like, look at this. They flattened the women's chest too, and so I'm like, you was really doing some investigative work.
You'd be so surprised, man. People really be getting into these virtual characters, man. Yeah. Like you got to think there's a reason. Like there's like whole entire AI apps in Japan where they have virtual girlfriends. Like a lot of these people, even here in the States, they don't get out, they don't touch grass. Some of them have certain types of conditions where they can't talk to people, things like that. So then this is their only way of really getting what they deem as intimacy, right? And then it grows into something that's just, it's really sad. It's sad to see, man.
Right. Like, that's true. It's like, and while they're upset about not looking at women in the sexualized way, I'm over here like, damn, they look beautiful. Like, they look more realistic.
They look more realistic, exactly.
I'm just happy about how realistic it looked, because like there was just some games that when they designed, like, female characters, women especially, like it was like you could tell it was like a guy's facial model. I'm like, damn, that looks rough. Like,
yeah, like they just like it's so weird. It's either mixed match, just like, but when they do it right, like when they do the character models right and they make everything look, like you said, realistic, it adds that sense of like, oh, okay, this is actually cool. They're still fun to look at. Like, you don't have to have like triple H's just to be attractive. And I feel bad, like the fan services, especially in video games, is so male based. Like the women gamers don't really get a lot of fan service for them, and I feel like that's like, if you're gonna do it one way, you gotta do it the other way. But you don't get games like that,
These are the same people like, well, if I can't look at women, then I'm gonna judge you for playing Baldur's Gate 3 for doing that thing with the bear, and I'm like, that's the hill you want to die on, I guess.
It's like, okay, it's so weird, man. It's so weird, and it's like they'll bring up things like you don't have to do, like you don't even have to do the bear scene, but like, you know what I mean. But there were weirdos going out of their way to see that shit. But like at the end of the day, it was more funny in Baldur's Gate. It was more funny. It wasn't meant to be like something you derive a serious, like, long expose think piece on it. It's there to be goofy. It served its purpose. But what about Dragon Age? You looking at that?
I haven't played any of the Dragon Age games. To tell you the truth, I want to though, but I haven't. I'm one of those kind of weird people where it's like, if I want to touch the series, I want to start with the very first one because I like to get familiar with it. So it's like I gotta like dedicate my time to it. But
I'll tell you like this: I have replayed the Dragon Age series more times than I can count on my hands, and I think that I have found the perfect way to play the games to get the best experience out of them. You start with game one, like you said, Dragon Age Origins, right? You're just going to primarily focus on the story mode in that. Just focus on your story missions. Get all the information. If you want to do some side missions, you can. Really enjoy that game, actually, I'd say. When you get to this, then once you beat that, you have a DLC called Awakening. You have to finish that too, because that takes place after all of the events that the Grey Warden Commander has to do in the main story. You play as the Grey Warden Commander. So after you do all that, then you play Game 2. Game 2, timeline-wise, takes place like near the beginning of the first game, right? But you play as a family, and you are escaping the Blight, which is the big event that is happening, where pretty much the underworld is coming up and trying to take out humanity, and living life. So there's people on the run. You play as a family known as the Hawks, and you are fleeing that, and you go to a different country called Kirkwall, and you do things there. That gameplay was fun, but like I don't have all of the 3 games, and now the 4th game that they're coming out with. I will say that to me, it's objectively. I'm not even saying subjectively. It is objectively the worst out of all of them. Like it's just burn through that. Put that shit on easy mode. Play through it because the story is important. Then you do the DLC. You do one of the DLCs, the one that's about the Hawk family. You do that DLC, and that gets you all the information you need to know for Inquisition. Inquisition, in my opinion, story-wise, second best one. Story-wise, the first one's the best one. Inquisition, everything else was amazing. You have the open world combat. It's pretty cool, or open world traversal. It's pretty cool. It's kind of gimmicky in its own little way, but like it was fun to explore and do things. You play through that story, and then you're good to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's really quick. You can get through it pretty fast if you play it like that. If you want to like get to a point where you're ready to get to what's the new one called? Veilguard. If you want to get to that point where you're just ready to jump into Veilguard, that's definitely the way to play it. You can get done with it in probably like 48 hours.
How do you feel about people being upset about this newest one with their new style of it.
So actually, me and Saber, who's been commenting in the chat every now and then, we actually had a discussion at the beginning. And at first, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the new artistic design, and I don't think Saber was either. I know I am more of a fan of it now because it does remind me of, like, it makes me feel like I'm playing like in a D&D campaign. So I kind of like it, and like if you know, like I don't know if you've noticed, but like EA's kind of been like moving that direction with their character models a lot. So where like in the games that are like, you know, the fantasy and like the sci-fi games, they're moving to that more kind of like cartoony but realistic kind of like kind of blend. Gotcha. So, it wasn't the art style. I think he just didn't like the style of the trailer. I think that's what it was for him.
Yeah.
So, I didn't like the art. I didn't like the design at first, but then it grew on me, and I went back and I looked at Dragon Age 1, and then I looked at Dragon Age 2, then I looked at Dragon Age Inquisition, and I was like, okay, yeah, they were definitely headed in this direction. I can see the, like, how it's better and like what I was seeing that was bothering me about it before.
Man. Because like when I was reading comments, I was like, it sounded like y'all just like people were mad about the direction more than like the game is set. Well,
everybody like honestly, this looks like it's probably going to be I'll put it like this: the only thing that I'm upset about with it, not really upset, but just disappointed they didn't do. I was hoping they were going to expand on the open world and just literally give me like this amazing like world to travel in, because it's our first time ever going into Tevinter. So, so pretty much the way, because you don't know much about it. So I was like, he hasn't played it. So you have you have a continent called Ferelden, right?
Okay.
And then you have, or is it called Ferelden? I forget. No, the Free Marshes. That's what it's called. So it's called the Free Marshes. And then you have another place called the Tevinter Imperium, right? And now these two places have been at odds because in the Free Marshes and that area and all of what you experience in the first game, first 3 games, you'll see that people don't like mages. Like, people don't like people who use magic because it's kind of like the mutants, like in X-Men. Like that's how they're seen, right? So they even have a place called the Tower, and there's multiple towers. And in these towers, it's like the Crusaders or the Templars have these mages literally under lock and key. Like, they cannot leave without being escorted by Templars, who are the only people who can control magic because they eat lyrium, which gives them access to magic-like abilities. So they're the only ones who can counteract a mage. So mages are very powerful in this and prone to blood magic, which makes them prone to possession from demons. So big thing. That's why they keep them under lock and key. Now the Tevinter Imperium, they're like, nah. We're mages. We're strong. You guys suck. We're the superior ones. And so their whole country and their whole continent, it's literally just all if everything progressed the way in which magic people were in control. So they're very they think that if you can't use magic, you're the issue. You're part of the problem.
You're the lame right here.
So like they're all about enslaving people who can't use magic. They're really about enslaving elves, all of that stuff. And the Free Marshes is kind of going through their own civil changes because now more elves are helping out with like big events. So now elves are starting to get more involved, and you can make an elf. So some of the things you do if you make an elf kind of changes how people view elves. So it's pretty cool like how they handle like different cultural stuff in that game. But yeah, so that's pretty much the setup. So this is our first time ever in the Tevinter Imperium. So I really wanted a chance to really just explore. But based on what's actually going on in the story, it makes more sense that they would do it a linear type of storytelling, like based on what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when I do get into it, I'm gonna play it because like I do like the Bioware games because like I'm a like big fan of like Mass Effect and like the Empire. So like I love those games mainly because like the choices I get to make and whatnot, that's more fitting towards me. And when I do play, I'm gonna let you know for sure.
Yeah, definitely let me know, bro. Let me know. I will say, if we compare it, because I was a huge Mass Effect fan too. Like Mass Effect is probably, in my opinion, one of the best sci-fi games that I think has ever been made. So
yeah,
but Mass Effect was intended for it to feel like a movie, right? So the choices really do matter. There's more stakes in Mass Effect. There's stakes in Dragon Age. I just think the way they played out and the way they handled it in Mass Effect was way better. And if they would have had the Mass Effect team on that, like how these, like on the choice detail and on that section, I think Dragon Age would have been almost 5 times better than what it is. But their choices do matter. So I'm not saying that to say the choices don't. You have really big decisions you have to make in game 1. You have really big decisions you have to make in game 2. But game 2, the decisions don't really matter too much. It's a very linear story. So there's not too much in Hawke's backstory that they can mess with. Then you get to Inquisition. There are a lot of choices you can make in Inquisition. I will say I did not feel the gravity of each decision. But I just feel like I was more into everything else with Dragon Age. Like, you can fight dragons. You can literally hunt down. There's 10 dragons. And you can hunt down all 10 for that achievement. And the 10th dragon is like the hardest dragon in the game. And I still haven't beaten it. And I'm mad at myself because everything else is maxed, but this dragon just won't go down.
Dang.
Yeah. It's fun, man. It's good.
They want you to work for it.
They want you to work for it, man. But it's real cool. The DLC content in Inquisition is amazing. I enjoyed Inquisition the most. I think the story, though, definitely shines all the way in Dragon Age Origins. So
I think that game won Game of the Year in
it did.
2014.
It really did. And that's how I didn't even know what it was. And then I was like, Game of the Year? I didn't even hear about this game. And I was like, well, it can't be that good. And then I played it, and I was like, holy fuck, okay, it is that good. It's kind of like it's more turn-based than the other games are. You press that, you can select what you do, and then your character will run to where they need to go, and then they'll start swinging. So there's no like active dodging or anything you really got to worry about there. Then in 2, they didn't really add like a blocking system or anything like that, but fighting was a little more active, so you did have to press buttons and move out the way to not get hit. You did have to do that. Then in Inquisition, they made it even more active. They added blocks, they added dodges, they added all types of things you can do to defend yourself from attacks. And then they also gave you what's like known as like the tactical mode. So you have like a camera, and you can like bird's eye view it, and then you can select what they do, and then hit a button, and it will play out based on the decisions you made. So some people like to play like that because then it's like a strategy game. And I think they kind of took that out in Veilguard, so it's not going to be as tactical in that way, but they wanted to focus more on active combat, which I think was a brilliant decision, because it's I love playing my turn-based games, don't get me wrong, but I like being locked in.
Right. Like everything's kind of like changing to the action RPGs. I remember when Final Fantasy was starting doing that, people were like, what the heck? No, I don't like this. Give me my turn-based. But then eventually it's been like a norm for some.
I'm just saying, there's a way to do it correctly, man. Like, I feel like you can have a turn, like the way Baldur's Gate did it. Great. That was great. Like, people are like, man, the combat sucks. And then you start getting into it and you're like, oh shit. Okay, right. It's like chess, people don't realize chess is really engaging once you're playing it. You may not enjoy just watching it. I don't like watching people play Baldur's Gate, but if I'm playing it, it's a blast.
That's funny. That's true.
Like, I'm not going to sit there and watch a Baldur's Gate stream. I'm really not, but I'll play Baldur's Gate and I'll play the absolute crap out of it.
Yeah, some people have a play style where it's like, man, you just spending way too much time doing this, man. I just want to see the action. Man,
like I play a lot of CCRPGs with Saber here in the chat, and we've been playing this one called Solasta with my friend Charles, and that one, like, these games make you think. Like, if you make a mistake, it could be the end of everything. We ended up Saber ended up discovering some wolves, like a pack of wolves, and it was like maybe 3 or 4 wolves. So we're fighting these wolves. All of a sudden, here come these giant crows. So now we have giant crows that can hit you like 2 times in one turn. You can only really attack 1 time unless you have 2 weapons. So like trying to save Saber, who was distant, like he was in the crow's nest. So we were trying to make it to him while simultaneously trying to protect our only healer, because we'll die. And this is all turn-based. So everything we do, we're like, okay, here's what I'm about to do. And then you hit them with that. Like, we had to talk like that just to barely make it out of that fight. Like,
gotcha.
So I love CCRPGs. It's just hard for me to just sit there and watch them. Like, I have to be in it.
You gotta be in the action. I feel that.
Yeah, but they're good. If you ever, Celeste is kind of like, it plays very similar to Dragon Age, to Baldur's Gate. So I know you played Baldur's Gate. So it plays like that. It's like I like to call it the lower budget Baldur's Gate because it has the cutscenes, it has the people talking. You do have decisions you make, or not really make, but you have decisions that you'll do, and then people will react. So it does have all of that, but it's just. Graphically, it pales in comparison. But they do have really good animations. The animations are so good. For like attacking, you feel the weight of every hit. If you hit a critical, it looks like you hit a critical. Like it's pretty cool.
I'm going to look into it. That's a lot of games to look into.
Yeah, bro, of course, man. Like, one thing about me and everybody who, like, hangs out with me and, like, plays games outside of TikTok, they'll tell you, like, I don't stay on a game for too long. Like, I'm like, oh, this game looks fun, and I'll play it. I'll play it for maybe, like, a month or two, and then now I'm on to the next game. So I'm always rifling through games or replaying games that I never finished.
Oh, same here, bro. I got to find something to play because.
We played Aliens twice.
Damn. So I'm all because I think what's funny about like me playing games, it's like I did this thing because like I used to I was sharing with my friends the other day. Like I had a 4 terabyte hard drive that I had for 7 years. It just died on me. Like it's just not working like it used to be.
Right.
And all the clips that I would look at, like it would play to a point. It would like. And I was like, no, and I'm trying to figure out a way I can fix it, salvage it, and it was like, nah, this just something is messed up with the disk inside, so I had to like transfer all my files and from one hard drive to another, and then, one thing I did a bad thing on. I was like, I recorded way too many gameplay footage, and I haven't like done like a real review on my YouTube page like I want to, and I made like a very hard decision. I said, delete all them stuff. Start up from scratch. Delete all of it. If you haven't talked about it yet, and like if you got clips and you ain't talking about it, man, get rid of it. You need to start things fresh and go from there. It's like when you play it and you're done with it, you need to start.
You gotta record right away. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm looking at everybody's like talking about it fast, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. So like I had to like get rid of so much footage, but at the same time too, it's like the thing about me is like sometimes I'll get into a game and then a newer game comes out and then that game will grab my attention and I'm like, shoot, because like that's what happened with like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like I was really into it. I'm like chapter 9. Like I really like. It's like to me, even right now, it's still like one of my favorite games of this year. And I was playing it. And then Helldivers 2 came, and then that took my whole attention for like 2 months.
Exactly.
Straight, just consistent.
I was locked into Helldivers. You couldn't take me off of it.
Right. Like it was commitment. I get home from work, I call my friend, hey, you get on tonight? Yeah, I'm getting on. Oh, you get bet. And we were just playing it nonstop. And then next thing you know, we're like, I'm gonna move on to something else. And then I think X Defiant dropped, and it was just so. And then
I've been playing X Defiant recently.
Yeah, it's like that, or Dragon's Dogma 2 dropped, and it was so much stuff, and then Stellar Blade dropped, and it's like, bruh, like it's so easy to get distracted by.
How was Stellar Blade? Because I saw it and I was like, this is just seems like fan service for the sake of fan service.
I haven't played all of it. Like I was hooked by the demo they did, and eventually I did play it, but like I think I probably got distracted by another game. I'm not for sure what it was. I think. But I like it. That's the thing. I don't like using because of that Black Myth Wukong video. I've been getting a lot of flack from like people who say this is just because the game is hard or has anything does not make it a Souls-like. And I'm like, well, can I not say that it has some aspects like the camera perspective to lock into? Like,
there's a lot of similarities. A lot of similarities, and I've seen people try to say like the way the camera locks on isn't like a Souls-like, but it's like the same thing. It's got the little dot in the middle. It's just a little tiny dot, and now you're just following it around. The camera angle is the exact same. Like, it's punishing. There's a lot of similarities to it. I think the biggest thing, and I think people might have said this on your video too, but for me at least, the biggest thing in a Souls-like is if what happens if you die. If you die, and then you lose your experience, and you got to get it back, or you lose it forever, I think that's what makes it a Souls-like. Yeah, that one thing for me.
Yeah. I think for me, cause when I learned about it, I had plenty of conversations with people about it, and it's like, what I learned is there is no authentic way to determine what a true Souls-like is, because everyone picks on things that that I guess they gravitate towards them the most. Like for me, it's that sense of dread, where it's like I'm down to my last health. I have no more flasks of things to drink.
Exactly.
And I'm hoping to God I can find a safe spot around here so I can refill back up. To me, that makes it that experience. Even that's how I feel when I play Black Myth. I'm like, bro, where the fuck is the next spot? I'm about to die. It's that sense of dread of trying to get to the next spot. But people say it's difficulty, and then someone say "Oh, this game is not as hard as that." I'm like, motherfucker, difficulty is subjective, okay? Just because you may be good,
be real. Anytime anybody ever comments, "This game was too easy," I'd never believe any of those. I'm like, you lying, and I know you're lying. People are good at games. I know people who are crazy good at games. I'm one of those people who are crazy good at random games. You're one of those people that are crazy good at random games, but I have never just picked up a game that was meant to be challenging and didn't struggle at all. You don't know the characters' combos, and that's the thing that's what people don't get about Dark Souls. It's not so much that the game is hard, you're just meant to die. You are meant to fail and come back until you learn how you're supposed to beat that character. Then you go back in, you beat that character, and then you go to the next boss, which isn't really even harder than the one you just fought. It fights differently. So now you have to understand that. And that's how those games work. It's about muscle memory and pattern recognition. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny you said that. Someone told me someone said I played God of War Ragnarok it's at the hardest difficulty, and I didn't die not one time, and I was like, so?
Okay. I just don't prove it.
I was like, I don't see why bragging about playing the hardest difficulty going to matter, because you don't get a trophy for it. There is no trophy that lets you know that, hey, here's the worthiness of trophy for beating this game. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that game was 40 hours plus long and whatnot. I'm not going through that whole entire game again just to play at the hardest difficulty. You can miss me with that.
Exactly, man. And I just I'm a big fan of playing games on the I try to play games on the hardest difficulty just to gauge because for me, I need to have a little bit of a challenge. I don't get the dopamine rush unless I have overcame something. So I put every game on the hardest difficulty to see how hard it is at first. If it's too much to manage, then I go, okay, I'm gonna go down. If that's still too much, like Helldivers, the first thing, you can't jump into the hardest difficulty, but as soon as I had access to it, I was playing on those modes almost exclusively, trying to see is it really as hard as they say it is? It was. It was definitely. I regret a lot of those decisions, but it's all good. But so I need that little bit of a challenge. So I get why people harp on the challenging part for Souls-like, but like you said, there's other things that make it that.
I want to tell you a funny story.
That's what we're here for.
I don't know if you know this creator. He's a friend of mine too. Average.
Average.
He's the black. He's a black dude. His name goes. It's AV. I wish I could type his name. Dang, that's kind of. I'm shouting him out, by the way.
All right, hey, well, shout out to Average.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout him out though, because he's a friend and we hang out a lot. But I was playing Helldivers 2 with him, and I like playing with him because we have a similar mindset. When we lock in, we like to lock in, but we also keep it fun.
Right.
I'm a little bit more lenient at times, but I like to just if it's a mission to get done, I'm your guy. If you want me to get serious, I can do that. But we're playing on Helldive. It was me, him, my brother, the hype man, anybody know, and then it was another friend in the group. Now this friend of mine, he can dial in it too at times, but he has his moments where like when he gets swarmed by the bugs and everything, he just like loses his shit. He's like, oh god, oh my, oh no, bugs. Oh my god, bugs and bros. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh fuck. Oh shit. I'm like, bro, shut up.
Just shoot him and run.
Right. This is one of those things that it kind of caught me off guard, but like, I think he had like one of those auto cannons or whatnot, and he accidentally shot Average and killed him. And then I heard, when he killed them, like Average was quiet, and when he was quiet, this dude, he said, "Hey man, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry, man. My bad." He said it like he was like he said it like he was like really genuinely sorry. But my friend Average was quiet, and when he was quiet, I'm one of those kind of people like I have a hard time taking seriously serious moments the way it is, because sometimes if I find something funny about it, I will crack up laughing.
That's me.
It's never my intent. But when he was quiet, I was busting out laughing. I was like, like I'm doing all this. I'm sorry, I couldn't stop from laughing. He said, "What?" I said, "I'm sorry." His name was Silver. "I'm sorry, Silver," but like the silence was loud, and the silence got me. Like I can tell from the silence that he was pissed, but he wanted to keep his composure. Like you can feel it. When someone's upset, you can feel it.
Oh man. That's how I felt whenever I would play Helldivers, and I was playing by myself, and I'd be with randoms, and we'd be on like one of the just like kill as many as you can missions, where we're all in the same spot, or we have to defend the spot until the ship comes, right?
Yeah.
And they bring the mortar, and like don't coordinate with where they're placing their mortars, and they place all their mortars at spots that if the androids or the robots or bugs make it past it, now they're all shooting in our direction. I usually put my thing up where we're at. That way it's launching it away, and we have time to stop them from getting close to us so that we don't get bombarded by the mortars. But these people just place them in such the weirdest places, don't communicate it, and then you just end up being blown up as soon as you get dropped in. And then they're like, "Oh, you suck at it, so we're kicking you out of the game." And I'm like, "You've been murdering me this entire time."
Oh, no.
Like, I think that's why during that whole, like, toxic debacle with Helldivers, that's why I was, like, so anti that shit. Because I was like, nah, like, this has been happening to me, and these people suck.
That was funny. That was a funny... It was funny. Everybody was all arguing about, like, no, you shouldn't kick people. It was like, no, I mean, if they're ass, kick them. And then that dude says, no, we need to set a no, we ain't setting no standard. Who the fuck sets a standard?
And then everybody, and then me, you, and King Lion do the live, and then everybody's like, they're beefing. And we're like, what are y'all talking about?
I think that was funny, because, like, I think you were animated, and then King Lion was all like, "No, let me tell you something. Like, I don't do that stuff either." I'm like, "Wait a minute, why are you arguing against? Why are you arguing for it?" He was like, "It's their choice. It's that's what they want to do. They'll kick you." It was like, "Wait a minute, no." It was just funny looking back at it in retrospect.
That was a good time. That was a good. Helldivers did a good thing. I think I like the idea of a game coming out that's based around, you and your friends trying to accomplish the same goal, and it's not necessary. And then like everybody else is also trying to do that. I really do. I like the idea that they had, and I think more games should do that. Because it does bring us together, and we do need more games that are like that. It just sucks that if those games get just good enough, games like that have to stay niche, because if they get too good, now you're getting all those crazy Call of Duty people coming in there,
so true.
And ruining it.
That's so true. And like, I know I made videos, spiteful videos, to upset some people because some people were annoying me, but like deep down, it's like Helldivers 2 was a game that was, I feel like to me, it was designed for a niche audience, for people who just want to have fun and kick it with their friends.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. But like, once it blew up and everybody's all like, "Oh my god, this game is fun," and you have creators, "Yo, this game is cooking."
Yeah.
Maybe the same ones months later, "Yeah, man, this game is dead.
It's dead. It's dead. It's ass.
All you do is this," and they pull up. "Look at the Steam charts. look at the. I'm like, oh, and I have done it too, but not to like do it the way they did it, but it was just like, damn, bro. It was well for me, it's like, it's the thing I hate about like the live service games in general because like you and I, we both come from a time where it was like online games, especially if they were multiplayer, was supported by the communities who stayed. And that's what it matters. But now it's all like, this game has about 100,000 active members, so it must be good. And and then people like, oh yeah, this
then
game.
You play it and it's like it's ass. It's utter garbage, and you're like, yes, there's 100,000 people who are playing it. Something ain't right.
Yeah, I'm just like, look at Fortnite. I'm like, yeah, Fortnite averaged at 1 million players a day, but that's because that's Fortnite,
and it's free.
Everybody wants every game to be like something. It's like, no, like let niche games be niche. Let their audience be that.
Like not every game is meant to be like millions of people are playing it all at the same time. Like obviously that's the goal, but we saw what happened with Helldivers when that happened. Their servers were down for so long, people were leaving their controllers on, and like I was one of those people, so I would put my controller on the desk and I would like lean it so that like my character was moving forward constantly, and then I would find a spot where the camera's spinning so my character's just like walking in a circle. So I used to do that because it was so hard to get into that game. I feel bad about it in hindsight. No, but
get it where you fit in, bro.
You get it where you fit in. Exactly. But yeah, man, I think games are starting to head and I hope they start heading back to that. Like I really hope that they pay attention to how good Wukong games like Black Myth Wukong are, and I hope that when Space Marine 2 comes out that it's equally as good in its own merit, and we just keep getting games that the community actually wants, because that's 95% of the reason that Baldur's Gate got Game of the Year last year was because of that. It did what the community wanted it to do, we showed up and we showed out because we were like, yes, this is what we actually asked for. And they gave it to us. They gave us everything that we asked for. Didn't ask us for more money. Didn't ask us to subscribe to them. Didn't do any of that nonsense. They just gave us what we wanted. And when you really think about it, that's the bare minimum. So they literally just did the bare minimum, and we blew them up for it because it was amazing. Because we just have been getting such low quality games, which is
that's true.
It's a noticeable thing. And so I'm glad that we're trying to get back to a place where we're not doing that anymore.
Right. I think it's funny too with Baldur's Gate, because like last year was a funny thing where it was
when you and that one dude, when he was talking about like how Baldur's Gate was gonna suck and all, or like it sucked, and you were just like, bro, all you do is play 2K. As soon as you said that, I was like, I'm agreeing with everything Josh is about to say after that, because it's probably going to be facts.
But what, it's cool, because what's funny, it's cool, but at the same time, it feels like a curse when I was playing, because like, at the time, like, I don't really follow like the AMP or anything, and it's not to throw shade or anything like that, because when I saw it was that, because like, when that Game Awards thing happened, and mind you, I had a video like in like last May when people were hyping up Spider-Man 2. And I had a creator like, Jacob, and people who said like, yo, this game is going to be Game of the Year, man. Move out the way, Tears of the Kingdom. This game is going to be Game of the Year. And they started showing the gameplay. I was like, the gameplay is cool, but I think y'all are really overhyping it. And that's just me of my years of playing video games. Like when I like that, and that's the thing, because like we have like a lot of younger people who plays video games, and they're just, most people who play video games are the average everyday gamers though, and that's not to throw shade or anything, but it's like you're going to be impressed by the things you feel impressed by. So you're not gonna look at video games as in, did it do this right? Did it do this right? You're looking at it as like, did I have a good time? And did I have fun? That's all I care about. If did I have a good time or did I have fun? That's all you care for. When it comes to like people like me who also look for those similar things too, it's like I'm one of those nerds who's always tapped in, like other creators too. Like I'm tapped in. I'm reading what's on the news. I'm reading what people are saying. I look at IGN. I grew up watching G4 TV back in the day. I went to GameStop and got a lot of the Game Informer
Game
magazines.
Informers. Yep, I had the whole subscription.
I read a lot of this. I went to public libraries and schools to print up 30-page facts of like how to beat a Final Fantasy game. No pictures or nothing. It's just black and white text. So I'm looking at a guide by reading what I think it is. So it was a struggle. Okay. So like when I'm looking at Spider-Man 2, people say it's gonna be a game of the year. I'm like, have y'all seen this competition? It's like, because I'm looking at what other games is doing that's different. I'm looking at how does the industry feel about it? How impactful is this video game is and what's it going to do going forward? When I saw that what Spider-Man was, I'm like, this game is going to be a good and great thing, but I think people are really setting that game's expectations to that it can never live up to, and that's just the victim of Sony itself, because like Sony, I know people give me. I tend to give Sony a lot of crap sometimes. Sometimes it's the petty fanboys, but like when you get that Sony stimulus package, like Sony can make a game about water look like a masterpiece, and you be like, "Yo, this is the best water video game of all time."
Exactly. Exactly. They put so much into the cinematics, so it's like. I feel like a lot of people were saying that game was going to be great because of the cinematics. Like that was. Yeah. Because, like you said, the gameplay didn't do anything different than the Spider-Man that came out the year before or 2 years before it. So it's just like, and then, for example, then we get those, where we got that video where they did the leak and they showed us, like, the multiplayer Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
That's something that would probably win Game of the Year because we finally get to experience the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. They could have.
Or if they did a create your own Spider-Man game, I think that would probably be very dope. I think that would kill.
Had that became an extension of Spider-Man 2, easily would have been Game of the Year in my personal opinion, because it was like we ain't never seen superhero games that expanded like that. Most of you see was like the MMO types, like the DC Universe Online things. But to circle back, like when it came to like Agent, because like. I was like making fun of those players who was giving me shit when I said this game is not going to win, and when I started using people's clips reacting to how it lost, it made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie, it made me laugh. I'm like, damn, y'all was really upset. It was funny. And then when I saw his video, or someone clipped his video, and then he was going at me, and I was like, damn. He's like, you and your work card talking about Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, what's wrong working at a regular job, bro?
Exactly. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that. And that was so crazy for him to come at you like that. It's like, what?
Yeah, and then what's so fun, but like what I was saying earlier about the whole curse thing, because like when I said all this dude play is Fortnite, 2K, and whatever game that's popular, I noticed ever since I said I'm not saying I'm taking full credit of it, but I noticed that there are other people who tend to say similar things now. When I said it, I don't want to be like, I'm the one who said, like when I said that, like. That's just based off my observation to doing my own research. But like after when that was all said and done, and I started seeing other people saying it too, I'm just like, wait a minute, bro. It's like y'all are just using other people's talking points, because I learned the same thing. And then I said that when I said he was a casual, he's not like us or whatever. I'm like that, and everybody's like, yeah, you're a casual. I'm like, what? I was like, wait a minute. Why is everybody repeating shit I said? Like, what the fuck?
Yo, your video blew the fuck up, bro. That shit popped. I was like, oh man.
I didn't expect it, and it was funny that I didn't expect it to blow up the way it did. It was just, I get it. I mean, it's crazy that it blew up the way it did. It definitely helped. That
shit was crazy. But hey, if you ask me, he deserved every bit of what you said, because it was true. and then like a week later, he's sitting there playing it and enjoying the shit out of it.
Yeah, I was like, look at him. Look at him.
Look, hey, everybody, look at this. So like I think what you've done out in the community is great. I think for like me and Malik talked about last time on the pod, we're at this point where we don't have gamers who are actually just focused on the actual mechanics and telling you a lot about the game. Like, we don't have reviewers like that are at the forefront. We have a lot of people like Dr. Disrespect or that one guy who just sits there and yells angrily at games. Like, we get stuff like that doesn't really give you what you need to know about the game and whether or not you should even try it. The goal of everything, even in a review, is to get somebody to at least try the game, but hey, here's my review of it. I don't like this game, and if you like these type of things, you may not like it. So if you play that game, keep that in mind. That's the idea of the review. You're supposed to give us enough so that we jump in there and we play the game and we go, you know what? Josh was right. This game is cheeks, or whatever the case may be. Or Josh was right. This is the best game ever. Like, whatever the case may be. And I feel like we don't have as many creators in that space. So I want to thank you for being one of those creators that does that. There's been some games that I've given a second chance that you were like, yeah, this game was actually pretty this and this and that. And I was like, oh, I'll try it.
No, I appreciate it. My dad always told me, always keep an open mind when you try things. At the same time, too, when you're playing a video game, watching a movie, you should get something out of it. Mm-hmm. And what's funny, you said that, like, there's not many honest people. But the funny thing is, like, there are honest people out there. It's like...
I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm just saying the focus isn't on them. When it should be. They're definitely. We've been shafted in some bitch though, but it's just also another issue is like when you do want to speak, when you're speaking honest about it, some people don't want to hear that either. Like some people want to comment. They just want to comment in response, and they never watch the whole thing in its entirety, so they want to like project things like, oh, you suck at a video game or anything. Like, I've been dealing with a lot of people who say like, oh, you just suck at Black Myth Wukong because of that. And I was just arguing about telling people to do not listen to people who say that this game is an easy game, because it shouldn't be simplified to that, and you shouldn't waste your money off the strength of what one person said because they're popular. Because some of these people, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, like it's gonna sound like a hating, but there are just some people, even if they're higher than me, like they're cool at talking about video games, but they're not good enough to talk about things in detail, and they don't elaborate further enough about why they like things and why they don't like stuff. And you said it earlier, people say like, oh, this game is ass. This is just like, that's a detriment too. Like we're not giving games grace. Like even like this new Star Wars game that just dropped. Like I noticed people out there that's trying to make hate content off it. Like there are people that's playing Star just so
Wars,
they can hate on it.
Yeah, they're hating on it, and they're hating on it too because it's like Ubisoft, and it's like, okay, I understand, like, Ubisoft hasn't been hidden like that for some games, especially with the Skull and Bones things, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're playing games for content and not playing games for the enjoyment of it first and the honesty of it and being fair of it, I don't want to listen to you.
No, I'm with you.
And the
100%.
problem is, and the problem with the gaming space on TikTok, it's like these people who tend to say that games are ass or are doing these simplified reviews of it, they are the ones that's getting all the sorts of the attentions. They're getting flown out or anything. And it is infuriating, I'm not going to lie. Because it's like, I love video games too, and I'm just as passionate, though. I'm just as passionate like anyone else. But it's like, why is it that we're not getting the same love and the enthusiasm behind it too? Because we are a different ballast to that. And I don't like the fact that we all had to agree with one guy's opinion because he thinks he's ass. Like, fuck that. I don't.
Yeah, nah. Like, and it's so crazy because these people, like again, you're not supposed to, like, the reviewer is a person. Like, people really, these parasocial relationships that people attach to each other, it's insane to me. Like, I remember there was a Dr. Disrespect video where I think it was the one where they, like, he had said something weird and then they took him off of the skins on Call of Duty, and I was like, yeah, he just shouldn't have said what he said. Like, regardless if that's his shtick or if he's telling it like it is, whatever the hell that means, right? Like, it like, obviously he's in a contract with these people, and he should have known that he should not say some of your views on a certain topic when that would shut off those gamers and Activision would lose money. I would kick you off too because it's stupid. You could have kept that to yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then, oh my God, then all that shit he's done recently, it's just like, bro, what is...
Woo! It's a whole different debacle.
It's just crazy because it's just like, dang, now we're gonna start seeing a lot of it, and he's not the only one. There's been so many. I've seen so many streamers are just getting outed for this type of stuff, and I'm just like, bro, y'all just need to chill, man.
Yeah, people getting outed for weird things and outed for scamming people and whatnot too.
Bro, the scamming is what's crazy, man. Like,
yeah,
every like the other dark stuff, like, you know, I expect it at this point. I expect that someone's got some crazy shit going on like that, and that sucks.
Yeah.
But like the scamming, I'm like, how are you scamming people and streaming? Like, like what?
Yeah, I'm like, you've been scamming people for years. I'm like, what?
And you just had your face out on the internet? Crazy, crazy work. That's a demon right there. Yeah. But yeah, man, I think where we're moving, though, I see people like you and Malik. I see y'all out here, and like people like Nerdstorm who get out on, shout out to Nerdstorm on TikTok. I see y'all out here, and y'all literally I can tell you're putting your heart into it. It's not, you didn't just play this game just to waste time. You didn't just play this game just to be mad or play this game just to give it a positive review. You played it to literally tell people, this is how I felt when I played this game. And like a lot of y'all inspired me to even just like stream. That's why when I would do if you looked at my earlier streaming videos where I was talking about like my game reviews, I did a lot of the not really telling you like what I really enjoyed about it. And then I played The Quarry, and The Quarry changed how I viewed gaming. I'm not even gonna lie. And that game's not like the most magnificent game I've ever played, but the community that I built around it, and I was literally paying attention to how I felt as I played that game, and that was honestly a game changer for me in how I view games. So like I've taken that with me as I do my reviews, and you'll see, like, even when I did my review of Dragon's Dogma, everybody knew I was gonna love Dragon's Dogma 2. That wasn't everybody. I've been talking about Dragon's Dogma for years, so people were like, yeah, he's gonna love that. You knew that, but then I was also impartial. There was things I didn't like about Dragon's Dogma 2, and I talked about those things. I was honest about it, you know? And even during that shit, like, everybody was like, oh my God, the microtransactions, they're so bad. You have to buy them. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, I literally went through that whole game before anybody even mentioned microtransactions. I didn't even know they were in the game. I had already beaten it.
Right.
Like, so... shit like that. I just wish people wanted to just be honest, and people should want to hear the honesty. Everybody acts like they want to hear it, but really everybody just wants to fight. Everybody just wants to dog stuff out. Like, it's popular now to hate on things. Like, and it's like Malik was saying in the last segment, these are real people who are busting their asses to bring us maybe 72 hours of enjoyment that they've spent 7,000 hours working on, essentially. Like, it's crazy, man, and those people don't get it. They don't get the credit they deserve.
I'm glad you say that, because like one guy is in my Discord. He's a developer, and he always tells me like one of my best friends is a developer too. He works over at Gearbox.
Oh, nice.
And he tells me that like people on the internet sometimes don't know what the hell they talking about.
Yeah, they really don't.
And it's like, and I agree. Like, there's these people are like real like people out there. So like when people like when someone's part of like a level designer or a QA tester and they're passionate about their game, they're defending, you know, you want to oh well your game's just ass, and it's like these are people who dedicate their time and everything into it. Like some of these people be working crunch times, which means that they don't get to see their families and everything, so they have to work on it. And what's frustrating too is like when we blame. But we always tend to blame developers most of the time, and we never
blame the producers.
Like the
publishers.
Like the people, like the people over them. Like these people are just coming in to clock in and just to do their jobs and whatnot. So it's like sometimes it's not 100% their fault. Sometimes they have deadlines they have to get to, and these are things that you can honestly research about how these things work. People have a plan. they have a timeline how they want things done. They get
Exactly.
people there, and when it happens, when things don't go the way it's supposed to, they'll if some companies that they really love it enough, they'll delay stuff. But sometimes they'll say, hey, we made these promises. We need to release the game the way it is. Whatever you can fix up, patch it up over time, and that's what it is. And like my only issue now with the gaming community is like, I was talking about it earlier with my brother about like game bugs and such. I feel like I understand that sometimes that stuff gets annoying when you're dealing with bugs, but sometimes it's like bugs are kind of like normal in video games.
Yeah.
If it's not game breaking, if it doesn't hurt the overall experience, I don't think it's good to like use it as a negative to bring a game down when you already tend to have a negative outlook.
Yeah, we're never gonna I don't think we've ever gotten a perfect released game, like where nothing at all was wrong. Like that's just the perfect things don't exist. Like we are human, so we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna be tired. We're gonna accidentally delete a line of coding and have to remember it. We're gonna have that happen. And like you said, people they put too much stock in the actual developers and not on the publishers. And a lot of the times what will happen, like for example, a game like Anthem. Anthem had really great gameplay, really great, the flight mechanics, best flight mechanics that I've ever seen like, I felt like Iron Man. Like, did not, like, I was like, they're not gonna, when they mentioned it, I was like, that's gonna be the thing that's gonna suck. It's not gonna be that good. That was the best thing about the game. But like, what went wrong with Anthem is they started talking about it way too early before they had actual gameplay footage to show us. So they told us all this is what we're going to get. They show us this crazy cinematic and they say this is in-game graphics, all this stuff. And so now this is what we see. We think we're going to get that. And then we got what we got. And so then everybody lashes out at those developers, but it's not their fault. Like you said, they got deadlines. They are being paid by people to push something out, and these people don't give a fuck. That's why we got to hit these publishers in their pockets.
Yeah, because like basically you're the middleman. It's like if anyone been a middleman doing delivery before, you're the first person that's going to get cussed at, yelled at. And you go back to your people, they're going to yell at you for not doing something fast enough. And it's like, wait a minute, man, I'm just a middleman.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, man. But that's all the time that I got for today, bro. But like, thank you for coming on to this, man. I really do appreciate you, bro.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, man. So to everybody who's chilling in the Discord right now, this has been Fictional and Anime and Gaming Channel Spawn Point Session, focusing on JoshSTATiX. Y'all can look him up on TikTok, and he's also available on the Red app. I will have the links posted if you see this on YouTube. If you're seeing clips on TikTok, definitely go check the YouTube. I can't talk about YouTube too much on TikTok, but go check out the YouTube.
Yes, sir.
We trying to do big things. But all right, Josh, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.